Okay guys, hello. I am back with the first part of the reading of Adolf Robert Thornton Jr. I did try earlier to load a video that was entirely too long, so we're going to keep these videos short and sweet. Unfortunately, more short than sweet. And may anything that resonates with you in this particular reading, may you take it and use it for good, and hopefully to bring those to justice who are truly responsible for the assassination of Adolf Robert Thornton Jr. Please make sure you get the Robert right. Okay. Now, in my last reading, energy reading that is, I did give you a little bit of background of what the energies were during the time that led up to the assassination of Robert Thornton Jr. and some of the time after. In this particular video, I will start with what words and names started coming up around 11/29/2021 is when his energy could be very, very strong. And it was, and he reached out to lots of people. When he reached out to me, I accepted, and he began to tell me about things that were going on. Because I'm not a clairvoyant, I can only get these words in waves. So I have to decipher what these words mean. So with that being said, this video is for entertainment purposes only. Please take out of it what resonates with you. All names that I'm using could or could not be factual. This is to not accuse anyone in particular, but maybe give an overview of what exactly was going on during the dates of November 15th through the dates of November 17th, 2021 in Memphis, Tennessee. Some of the first words that came through were shock, blanket, evil, hidden, radio. So, foliage, lesions, grandma, shove, roll, report, blood, hands, without. Now, I will not do that on every video, but every video I will start off with the first words that are on the page. What I got from this as time went on was that whomever had a part in the demise of Mr. Adolf Robert Thornton Jr. had blood on their hands, and they may have actually put or shoved a blanket or rolled carpet into a foliaged area, meaning it may have been an area with trees and woods, and that it may have been muddy. So if there's an investigator, which I tend to believe that there is, who actually went back to that spot because they may have gotten a tip and they did not go fully into the foliage because of mud or because of the overgrowth of foliage, please go back. You are on the right path. Next, I got something about Christopher entered and stood listening. Eric turned. I don't know who Christopher may or may not be, and this may or may not be for this particular page or for this particular reading, but because of the fact that I'm just merely a messenger, I have to say what the words are saying. So there may be someone named Christopher who may have entered the room, stood listening. And there may be someone named Eric. So there was a whole explanation going on. There may be a single duty, Mackenzie, chest up, family upstairs. I don't know if there is an officer named Mackenzie or that they may have felt it was their duty. Mackenzie had duty. Don't know. And there may have been, their family may have been upstairs while these things were taking place. Over time, the theory that Adolf Robert Thornton Jr. may have been kidnapped, I've grown a little bit more fond of that theory than any other theory because him being killed or you know, him being taken out in a cookie shop with his hand who just happens to hang out the window. Yeah, no. And from what I can tell, whatever body that was lying there, it looked pretty darn stiff. Rigor mortis looks like it had set in. That's just my opinion. Let me go on. What is our time here? I'm not sure. And as I said, this could be wrong, but there was some screaming and groaning, and there was sharp pain being felt by someone, and I tend to think it was Adolf Robert Thornton Jr. Excuse me. They may have forced him to sign something, or tried to force him to sign something. There may have been a point where one of them, after torture, had wrapped his wounds in gauze and put medicine on them. And even that gauze, it may be found somewhere on the forest floor or somewhere. Someone is investigating or has investigated this. Yeah. Jackson, the name Jackson keeps coming up. The last name Jackson, don't know if someone has something to do with it by the name of Jackson or whose last name is Jackson. Then there's Daniel Gray Church. Don't know if that resonates with anyone, but if it does, please feel free to comment below so that we can put these pieces together. And the name that comes out the most in all of these readings is Ask Adam. I don't know if Adam is a lawyer or Adam is someone who he was very close to, a confidant, or someone who was an arch enemy. But Adam seems to know, because Adam, throughout the reading, Adam really knows what's going on. I don't know who Adam is, and Adam, he wants us to ask you, Adam. Yeah, so you know Adam. Not sure, but just in case. So let's go over the Daniel Gray Church part. There are people who are related to certain people who do have churches, who are ministers and pastors. Then the word palace comes out. As the months have gone by, I did research that there is actually a theater that goes by the name of Palace in or around Covington, Tennessee. Not quite sure where the other palace would be. So if there's anyone who knows about that word palace, please let me know. And that will conclude the first reading of Adolf Robert Thornton Jr. and the clues that may help catch the killers. Tune in to the next one. Until then, ashe, ashe, ashe. And to all those evil eyes, return to sender.